Hey guys, Blake here from Beer Buds.
And Chris.
And Chris, man, we're going to talk to you about Frankenstein body makers, a freaking woman hiking all the way to the Into the Wild bus in Alaska, and potentially some other bullshit. So yeah, going into the idea of these people building like a Frankenstein, I don't think it was. I haven't read all the article, but I don't think it was literally them planning to do that. I think this was literally just sick fucking people. So this is actually in Arizona. It was a body donation center. So they were using it for research, stuff like that. So whenever you want to donate your body to science, like that kind of gig. So the FBI raided this place and found buckets of full body parts and a body made of sewn together parts from different people, and then it was hung on the wall at an Arizona body donation center. Yeah. So, according to a news channel, the FBI raided the Biological Resource Center located in Phoenix in 2014 as part of a multi-state human body parts trafficking raid.
The fact that that's even.
Hey man, you got that forearm, dude?
Yeah.
It's on the black market, bro.
Let me get that elbow.
Get it. So they did that. One agent claimed he found a cooler filled with male genitalia, a bucket of heads, arms, and legs, infected heads, and a small woman's head sewn onto a large male torso like Frankenstein and hung up on the wall. Now, that never happened with Frankenstein. Well, I guess Lady Frank or whatever she was.
Well, Frankenstein isn't the name of the monster.
No, he was the doctor.
Yeah. A small woman's head.
It reminds you of like Beetlejuice, like the small head people.
Yeah.
Says the lawsuit also says bodies were cut apart using chainsaws and bandsaws, and that pools of blood and bodily fluids were found on the freezer floor.
I mean, how else are you gonna cut them apart? I mean, really.
I mean, no, honestly, yeah.
What would your weapon of choice be if you had to cut a body?
That's a good question.
Cut a body up. What would you use?
Like, is this going back to like any weapon style?
I guess if someone just gave you a body and they were like, you need to cut this up, what would you do?
Gimli's axe.
I mean, like, in reality.
Oh,
like,
I thought you were going like anything.
Well, I thought that, but then, like, I thought just, like, real life.
There's no other way to do it. I mean, if you're going to use, like, a chainsaw.
Yeah, I feel like that's so messy, though.
Just imagine, is a bandsaw like the one that's like a table and it's like,
yeah.
Dude, that thing's going so fast, that'd probably be the best way to do it.
But where are you going to get one?
Almost at Office Depot.
Office Depot?
Home Depot.
For all your body part shopping needs, Office Depot. Sponsor.
Brought to you by Office. But yeah, so I mean, obviously, those two are pretty.
Yeah. Okay.
Hedge clippers. I don't know.
Fisker's safety shears.
So let's see. This is a horror story, and it's unbelievable. This story is unbelievable," said Troy Harp, who is one of the 30 plaintiffs in the lawsuit against the facility. Harp donated his mother and grandmother to the BRC in 2012 and 2013 with the understanding that their bodies would be used for scientific purpose. They were, dude. Like, you've wanted to see this.
You would want to see your grandma's head sewn onto a big man's body.
It's like, Grandma on the Rock. Like, you got two things going. He told the news outlet he received his mother's ashes via mail, but now it isn't sure they're really hers. Adding that his mother and grandmother wanted to help advance medical research. However, he doesn't believe their bodies ever made it to the BRC. Made it out of the BRC.
Well, wait. How would he get... Oh, I guess they would do whatever and then burn them?
Yeah.
Okay.
He is calling for stricter regulations on these types of facilities and shit. No shit. Like, that's another thing, too. It's like, you start thinking about, like, not even that, but how much fucked up stuff that probably happens to, like, cadavers and stuff, like, this type of bodies. Like, how much necrophilia probably actually happens. Just imagine that.
There's probably a ton. There's probably a ton.
I believe that wholeheartedly. That, like, owning a morgue would probably be the weirdest job ever.
Look, if I'm to believe every TV or movie I've ever seen with an autopsy person in a morgue, they always are doing it alone in the middle of the night.
Yep.
Down in the dark,
and
dimly lit.
Be one big
in there. in the dimly lit basement, alone with no lights on.
Up.
Yeah,
that's so fucked up.
So they're probably fucking some bodies.
Oh man, that's rough. I mean, but then again, if you're working in a morgue, just imagine that conversation on the first date. Like, you're not getting laid. Like, it's like, what do you do?
You probably got that formaldehyde smell.
Oh, man.
In
like that person, yeah. You'd have to fuck with a dead body.
You have to, yeah.
So, BRC owner Stephen Gore reportedly pleaded guilty to illegal control of an enterprise. He was sentenced to 1 year.
That's it?
And 4 years probation.
Okay.
Just playing around with some bodies. He doesn't have any altar, plans.
He got off pretty easy, I guess.
So before we go into the next thing I want to talk about, we're going to hit up on our beers. This is actually our IPA edition. I got a double IPA, an Imperial IPA, and a local IPA here in Chattanooga. So I'd like to start off with the local. I've been by there a couple times here recently, but it is Heaven and Ale's Sea Hop City. A little take on that Sea Rock City there. I had this when they released it. It was awesome. They just released maybe it was a smoothie IPA with vanilla bean, which was amazing.
That sounds
It
nice.
is called Sunset Hops, I believe is what it is. But it is so good. They just actually released 3 more cans yesterday or the day before. But this one stood out to me because it's very crushable. It's very one of much of those beers you can have more than one of. It's only sitting at, I believe, 5% alcohol. It's a session IPA. You will probably like this because it's a little bit on the lighter side.
I think so, but
I know.
You never know.
So yeah, let's see how this guy goes.
Sea Hop City.
Sea Hop City.
That's a cool can stuff.
Oh, dude, that's what's so cool about him. I talked to Joe the other day too. Still trying to get in there, do an interview with you guys. Really hoppy though.
Oh gosh.
That's an aftertasty beer though.
That is aftertasty.
For it to be a session IPA though, it's actually really bitter. So I was actually really surprised on that. Most of your session stuff is actually cooled down a lot, so you're not. But once a beer like this is kind of warmed up a little bit, you're gonna get all the flavors in it. So 5 hop varieties to achieve flavors of ripe tangerine. It does say pine. I'm getting pine.
Yeah.
Our flagship. This is their flagship session IPA. To everyday beer, light, flavorful, and dry.
It is dry.
Piney and dry is what I'm getting for sure.
So if you like chewing on Christmas trees.
All right, so while we're sipping on this guy, let me see if I can find that second thingy.
I don't know if I like this at all.
Drink it. So this lady, and it's pulling up now, but she won a certain amount, $1 million, something like that, through the lottery, and then within a very short period of time, she is none. And I'm not sure if she was single at the time or what. Or I know it mentioned she bought a lot of cars and stuff like that. So yeah, it says so this is in Europe. So UK's youngest lottery winner, Callie, now in a $12,000 a year job after blowing winnings. So it says she is calling. So the UK's youngest lotto winner is calling for the age limit of lottery players to be increased.
So she's like...
Having said she was too young when she landed her fortune. So, and now this is in euros, so I don't know what the really big difference is, but she won a whopping 1.8 million euros. So it's actually cheaper. Or it's actually lower, right, than what it sounds.
I think so.
When she was
but not much.
She won all that when she was 16.
It's still well over $1 million.
That kind of makes sense, though. Like, if I was 16... and I get slapped in the face with like almost $2 million. Like, man.
Could you imagine the stupid shit you would do?
Yeah, and it says at the time she was earning $3.60 or 3.60 euro or 3.60 euro an hour. So at a shop assistant at the local co-op in her hometown of Workington, Cumbria.
I know that place.
No. Single. I love how they even put it in the single mom. Single mom Rogers, now 32, told the Mirror that the cash has now all gone, but has admitted she's never felt better. Now earning just $12,000 a year as a carrier and living in $500 a month rent home.
How old is she now?
It hasn't said.
32. Well, that lasted.
That
lasted her a good 16 years.
Good God! Yeah, that's like a good.
That's not bad.
I mean, if you're.
That's half of her life.
Yeah. I mean, I could 2 years. I would.
It lasted.
2 million. I wouldn't make it last. 16.
It lasted her exactly the number of years that she was alive when she won it.
Yeah. She says, I'm the happiest I ever been. The mom of 3 explained how she felt she was too young to handle this pressure of winnings so much money as a young age. So there's her, like, holding a little check, too.
Yeah. 16 years, though? That's a pretty good to stretch that out.
Yeah, she says you were only 16 with all the responsibility, she said. At that age, you can get the best advice ever, but you are not in a position to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was too young, she said. Overnight, I went from carefree child to adult. All these years on, it still gets dragged up. Even when I go for job interviews, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I feel like that would be like the biggest thing. Like if you lost, like let's just say like the lottery's here. Like, you know, I feel like people don't want to win it or don't play just so it keeps racking up. Yeah. And then that's when everybody's just like, boom, like trying to play it and stuff like, because it got up to, I know not too long ago, to like $600-something million. And like the thing is, like obviously taxes are going to take a shit ton of that, but
then you got to pick whether you want it in a lump sum or paid out over like 50 years.
Right.
If you take the lump sum, you get a
but think
whole
of
lot less.
So out of 600 million, they're probably taking a good 100 million. I have so many dreams and aspirations of the idea of winning money. So I don't know. Like,
who doesn't, man?
What would be like the first thing you would do? Like, what's the first thing on your mind? Obviously, you just won $600 million.
What would you do? What would the first thing you do? I think
that's a good question. Like, what would you do?
Let's pour the second beer and talk about that.
Okay. All right, let's do that. So before we get into that, man, this is probably one of my all-time favorite, outside of Monday Night Brewing, one of my favorites, still kind of semi-local. This is Bearded Iris out of Nashville. I've been to the brewery. Really awesome place. They very much focus on the idea of IPAs, so that's why I'm bringing it to this edition. This is Offbeat. It is a double IPA with Citra, Simcoa, and eccentric hops.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Nope. That's really all it gives me. It's thoughtfully brewed and canned in Nashville, blah, blah, blah. It is 7.5 alcohol volume. Yeah, women, you should not drink this when you're pregnant. That's about all it gives me
Just this beer. The rest of them you can have.
Yeah, do it all day.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's going to suck.
It's not going to suck. I've had this beer before. It's good.
Yeah, I'm to trust you.
So yeah, Offbeat, Bearded Iris, good tits. A little orangey.
This one isn't as bitter as the first one.
Very orange juicy.
This one isn't as bad. I like this one better than
the last
one.
So like the first thing you would buy, like what's the first thing? So obviously people have that idea of like, okay, well I'm just gonna take care of every debt I ever owned. It's just smart. I agree with that.
So that would obviously, I guess, be the first thing, is pay off all your credit cards or debts.
Yeah.
Because that just makes sense.
God, it wouldn't even dent that money.
So like, aside from the logical things, probably, at least in my case,
yep,
I would probably get a new car.
Okay.
Because mine's about had it. And I, want it like an SUV, something to tow my drums around in. I would probably get some sort of like RV or van type thing
for bands
for like
get you like
tour
old
stuff.
Yeah. An old Dodge big van.
Yeah, like a big old van, maybe something with like a bed in the back or something. Because that would solve a lot of tour logistic stuff, like when my bands play out of town and it's like got to rent a car and then find a hotel. No,
so obviously like a home, possibly band space.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, probably. Oh, yeah, like a studio practice space would definitely.
I feel like all you need is just to own a storage unit, like dang, and just.
Well, yeah, but a lot of storage units don't. Oh, like actually own the whole storage.
Yeah, own the whole storage thing.
That's a good investment, actually. You know what I always thought the best investment was, and maybe. It's not. It's just because I don't know much about it. But fucking owning a parking lot.
Oh, dude, no. I was talking to...
What is the upkeep on that?
Who was I talking to the other day? Somebody that... so I went by the aquarium. My buddy Michael works there, plays in Tears Lane.
Mm-hmm.
He's the director of retail there. So I went there and I just parked on the side street next where they do Riverbend. I didn't pay. But
no
one does. But I walked over there and I talked to him for a solid hour. But he was talking about like how... Like, since public parking came into the Tennessee Aquarium area right there where you got to pay to park, he's like, dude, we make so much off anybody that doesn't pay. He's like, if they don't pay, we get what they pay for that ticket. And it was just like, yeah. And he's like, so we get the profit off of that and everything else. He's like, but we have, he's like, but yeah, he's like, that's one of the biggest things I would do in a heartbeat is like own a parking lot. Own a parking lot or a parking deck, like all these places, like you're able to make so much money.
You are, because you got to think, your cost of running is basically nothing.
No, it's
you
paid
don't
back.
have to have power. You don't have to have. You have maybe one employee that sits in the lot and checks for tickets, like what, $8 an hour.
And most of the time, you can get like the city ordinance to do that, like just to walk around and like.
You don't have to have water, power. You don't have any utilities.
One thing you have is a gate and a thing to put your card in.
Yeah, you got a fucking just a plot of land that you make $1 billion off of because you're charging. I mean, especially those lots in like downtown Nashville, they're like $40.
No, we went to Knoxville, week before last to see Manchester Orchestra, and so it wasn't bad. It was actually like $10, so it wasn't bad. But literally, like, here's the building or the Mine and Mill, which is the name of the venue there, and literally right next to it was it was just a lady in a truck that was sitting out there with a little QR reader that was like patrolling this whole area right here, and it was like her and her family that were running it, and she was just like, yeah, it'd be $10, and it was just like she was just bang, cha-ching, but there wasn't that many people parked in there, and it was literally the entrance of the venue right here, parking lot. Like right across the street, and we got to park there for $10 and literally walk 10 feet, and we were at the venue. But like, still,
any of those.
Now, when we go to Atlanta, like if we go to IKEA, we're paying that shit ton.
It's like $20, and those lots are full, and there's like, just imagine $20 per car, and
there's probably 200 to 300 people in there
all day. Yeah,
continuance.
It's crazy.
That's all there is, and so like that's a good thing to start with. Like me personally, obviously debt in itself. Yeah. Would be the first thing I'd go after. I don't know. I say that because I don't have the money right in my hand. But I say this, but I'm not a car dude. Like I wouldn't go over that. I would get something efficient. Hey bud, where you been? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a car guy either, but
so like that, I would probably get something efficient. I would get something that's reliable. I really want a truck, even though it sounds so weird living in the South and I'm nowhere near that.
Truck boy.
And then I don't know, man. A house would be, a decent enough house to where, I don't know. I just want a house paid off in general. So, like, you just give me that, I'm good.
Yeah. Pay your house off.
I don't know, man.
That would factor into debt, I'd guess. Yeah. Right? So, yeah. That would be paid off.
I love where I live, so I don't really care to move. But other than that, man, I don't know. Like, that's another thing. Like, that much money, like, I would be sitting here like,
what do I do? Yeah, you wouldn't even know what to do. And then at what point would you just be trying to spend it just to spend it because you had it?
Can you imagine the beer I'd have?
I'm trying to figure out something to buy, and it's like, why? And it's like, well, because I have the money. But that's not a reason to buy stuff, right? I mean, just because you have the money.
I'd love to open a brewery.
Well, there you go.
That'd be dope. With that much money, I could buy a few more that are already here.
Just buy.
Just buy the breweries.
Just buy, dude. Just buy the already established stuff. You know what I mean? Then you don't have to do anything.
600 million.
Oh, you could buy a couple.
Man, like, dude, I don't know.
Buy up all the parking lots
of those breweries,
and then that'll make you enough money to buy more breweries.
Well, the next beer we're about to get in is influenced by the movie Office Space, so it's actually really cool. So this is Nola Brewing.
Oh, there's the stapler.
And there's the red stapler. So it says actually on the back, the beer itself is called It's Just Paperwork, Man. It's an Imperial IPA. With this, I don't know the true process in making this beer, or like an Imperial, but it is pretty good. I've had this one before. It says on the back, did you see the memo? If you could just go ahead and make sure to taste this tropical goodness fresh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's 7.9 alcohol on this one. It is used with Sabro and Meridian hops.
Yeah, my favorite hops, man.
Yeah, man. But going into the TV shows that I've been watching, Kara has, I don't know if she's talked about it at band practice, but she's talked to me about it so much that it made me start watching it, but Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Dude, have you watched any of it?
What is it even about?
So, for those who haven't watched it, I may be butchering it. I've paid attention to most I can.
It's my favorite show. I haven't really watched it.
No, I wouldn't say it's my favorite show, but it's gotten to be like one of those things since Stranger Things ended, and I finished Game of Thrones. I'm still rewatching Game of Thrones, but going back to this smells good.
Yeah, this smells kind of juicy. A little like apple juice.
I'm getting apple. Well, I'm getting like pineapple.
Pineapple. Apple.
Pine. And apple.
Yeah.
There's pine in here, probably.
There you go. That's it.
But no, Handmaid's Tale basically just goes off of this new... So these people, I believe it started in like Boston, and I could be wrong, but it was like almost cultish. These people followed this certain section in the Bible, and they start to make it radical and move it across the states and basically start living by it. And so, like, women are either forced to be wives, maids, or what they call handmaids. So there's a part in the Bible, forgive me, I don't know anything about this shit, but there's a part in the Bible where this guy, his wife, couldn't have children, so the Lord commands him to take up his handmaid and basically have sex with her to have the children.
Well, he's got to do what he's got to do, man.
Right. So, in this reality, it starts from Boston and takes over all the United States. And, like, this whole cult is taking over it. And they're, like, the people that run the house is, like, the commander and the wife, which is husband and wife. And then you have your handmaid, your maids, and all these other people or whatever. Kind of reminds you of Hunger Games in a way, just because, like, all around the streets there's people with guns. Like, you can't do anything. Like, they're walking around the street and saying things like, praise be. Like, the Lord open. Like, it's weird. And so the main character, she's a handmaid. And so, like, and literally, like, the wives hold down the handmaids while their husbands, like, fuck them.
Oh.
And it's
one way to do it.
Basically rape, obviously. But they have to, like, it's so weird. Like, she had a husband. It's just really weird. Now it's just, like, transpiring, like, into things, and, like, it's kind of getting rebellious. Like, the handmaids are starting to actually kind of, in a way, fight back. Yeah. I don't want to ruin it, because this really is a really good show. Like, Kara's already, like, at the end of, not the end of it, but, like, the end of this most recent season. It's a Hulu original.
Yeah.
So it's one of those shows that make you want to just, like, kill the fucking bad people. Like, you just want to be, like, going in there and just, like, beating the fuck out of everybody that's, like, harmed this one handmaid. Like, dude, I'll even go as far as to say this word, which is kind of, like, one girl, just because she was a lesbian, that in a past, before all this happened, they found out that she was actually a lesbian.
Yeah.
They cut her
clit
off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it.
It's one way to do it. So she would not feel urges anymore. So she would, and it's just so effed up. Girls can't read. They won't allow you to read. Like, the main commander's wife, in one part, like, stood in front of all these commanders and read a book. They cut off her finger. Like, it was like all these.
Well, that's more better.
Well, they were supposed to do something else. I don't remember what it was, but since that was the commander's wife, they didn't do as bad as they would have. What'd you think of that?
Oh yeah, I haven't tasted it.
I haven't tasted it.
I'm talking about clits.
Mmm.
Oh, you see now.
Nope. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Worst one for me right here.
What? The worst? So the middle was the better?
Middle was the best.
Bearded Iris, win again.
Man.
Yeah, try it again just to feel.
Because I'm trying to. Oh God. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Yeah, this. Here? I do not like this one. Do not like it. No.
I've tried a lot of Nola stuff, and they haven't maybe really depressed me. They have another one. What's it called? Oh, if I have to think about it, it wasn't that great. Yeah. But I really enjoy their stuff. Just like I just need to finish this.
You know what? That's just not good.
But yes, watch Handmaid's Tale. That's awesome. Another thing that I want to bring up, since we're close to the end, one of my buddies, Andy, he runs Fit Plus here in Chattanooga. It's really awesome things, from healthy eats, a good just lifestyle when it comes to, like, eating healthy and stuff like that. He's awesome. I've known this guy since he used to shop with me at Oakley. I believe Buckle back in the days when we first met. But I tried to get him on an episode soon. He's a very big bourbon whiskey collector. I was going to get him on an episode when we did, like, our bourbon barrel aged stouts, which you would have loved.
Yeah.
But he's a very busy guy with what he's got going on. So I talked to him today, and what he's going to offer you guys if you have a chance to go buy Fit Plus. I know they have a location over next to, I believe it's Pinstripes. It's over there off, is that Shallowford?
Lee Highway.
Lee Highway, that's what it is. So Lee Highway, it's over there in that little shopping center. His name's Andy. Him and his wife are awesome. Go by there, mention that you've watched Beer Buds, and they'll give you 15% off their meals, which is an awesome deal. We've kind of partnered just today. I talked to him just today, and he was just like, man, I hate that I can't be on there, but we're going to help you guys out and help them out. So if you go in there and say, hey, I know Blake and Chris from Beer Buds, 15% off right there. And if you know anything about what they do, it's just so awesome. There's pre-express meals. You can walk in there every day and just grab almost like a Tupperware of meals that they make. They have like a really cool taco salad one that I saw. So they have really good, healthy, fit meals if you're just looking. And what they really try to make it for is for the family of 3. Like we have 3 kids. They have 3 kids. And when I was talking to him, he's like, man, we have 3 kids. Like we started this in the idea that we don't have time to sit down for a cooked meal every day.
Yeah.
He's like, so we started planning our meals through the week. And he's like, we reach in the fridge and there it is. We're done. Boom. No cleanup, nothing. Toss out the Tupperware, whatever. It's done. Like, and that's what he's trying to do for everybody else that has this big family or somebody that just wants to, hit the gym, grab a meal, go to work. Next, when you get off work, there's another meal. Like, it's just so quick and easy. So they're, like I said, just so small and just like the way they should be portioned. So check them out. Fit Plus, my buddy Andy, his wife that worked there, and 15% off just for saying Beer Buds.
That's a good deal.
It's a good deal, man. We're helping you guys out. We're staying local with Chattanooga, and that's what's great. Shout out to, once again, Heaven and Elle, Nola, and Bearded Iris. I am Blake.
And I'm Chris.
Have a good week, guys. Take it easy.